appreciate you making out time to be here with us today. So if you have any other friend, colleague, family member who you would love to also finish 2025 strong, and you know a session like this would be of benefit to them, I urge you to please share the link to the session with them so that they can also be a part of this call, right? So if you have any friend, family member, colleague that you know would really love to be here, please share the link to this session with them so that they can join us, right? So we're going to start in just a few minutes. But before I get started, I'd like to get to know you, where you're joining us from, and the course you're taking in tech. So just type something like London data science, Manchester data analytics, right? So where you're joining us from and the course you've taken, right? I can already see your names, so you don't need to write your name. So please just type where you're joining from and the course you've taken already. I would love for this session to be as interactive as possible, right? To engage with me so that we can all have so much fun, right? So where are you joining from and what tech course have you taken already? Please type it in the chat. I have my eyes glued to it, okay? So we have more people joining and it's going to be an amazing session, like I said. So, but as we wait for more and more people to join, please ensure that you introduce yourself. So where are you joining from and what tech course have you taken? Are we so exhausted? I don't want to believe we've totally clocked out for the year. For us to be here on this call today, honestly, I feel like it's still because there are one or two things you want to tick up checklist, right, for 2025. So yeah, let's just get started. So I'll share my screen in about a few minutes as we do the just a minute. Okay. All right. So for everyone who's just joining, you haven't missed a thing. We're just about to start and we're just about to get to know each other. So like I said, please introduce yourself in the chat by typing where you're joining from and the tech course you have taken already. So what tech course have you taken? And I would also like to know where you're joining from. So just put it in the chat and let me know, okay? So I have my eyes glued to the chat. Okay, so I think we have more people who have joined us now, so we can just get started. But what's going on with this audience that I have today? Nobody is introducing themselves, or am I not seeing clearly? I mean, I have my eyes glued to the chat, but I can't see anybody's message, right? So are we exhausted? Where are you joining from? And or is it that we've not taken any tech course at all? Have we not taken any tech course? That the case? If that's the case, you can just type it that you're yet to take a tech course. But if you've taken a tech course, just type the course you've taken. The reason why I'm asking this question, you will get to know as we proceed. So I would introduce Amdari, right, and why we are here today. But I promise you this session promises to be amazing. Thank you, Ololade. Ololade is joining from Newcastle and she has taken a data analytics course already. Balumi is joining from Hertfordshire and she has taken a data analytics course also. Then we have Gideon, who is joining us from the same location as Pelumi, Hertfordshire, and he has taken AI and robotics course. Okay, awesome. So please keep it coming. Like I said, I would also get to introduce myself as we proceed. But in the meantime, let's get to meet Amdari, what we do, and why we are here. Now, this topic is a very interesting topic. So one topic that would really help you start the year 2026 strong, because at the end of the day, what this session is about is everything that has to do with you being that candidate, that job seeker who is able to get a job. Okay, thank you, Abigail. Abigail is joining from East Cheshire and she's taking a course in data analytics. Okay, sorry, Well, that's just a minute, please. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, sorry, I had a small glitch with my screen. So yes, thank you everybody for joining. It's amazing having you all here. Nottingham, that's Yemi, project management, beautiful. So now, like I said, please, if you have any friends, colleagues, and family members that would benefit from this session, please send them the link to join. It would be done in about 1 hour, 30 minutes. You get to ask me questions and I get to also provide you with answers. Let's quickly talk about the platform that's bringing this to you. Maybe you're stumbling on Amdari for the first time. Maybe you've seen Amdari before. It doesn't matter, right? You're here because there is definitely something you need answers to, or you need clarity on. Maybe it's how to get a job. Maybe it's how to secure business sponsorship jobs. Maybe it's also how to gain experience. All of that this session is going to address, and you would know the next steps from here. So this session is not just going to be about us addressing problems. We're also going to be taking a look at how you can actually solve that problem. So it's not just a problem all through, like I said, it is addressing the problem, right? Knowing that yes, there is this major blocker for me, and then what's the next thing I can do to solve this major blocker? That's what this session is about, right? So if you joined any Amdari session before, type a 1 in the chat. If you haven't joined Amdari session before, give me a thumbs up. You've joined, 1 in the chat. You've never joined, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Okwemi. Okay, thank you, Elisha. Thank you, Bukumi. Thank you. I think I saw Moriah or something, but it went on very fast. Thank you, Christiana. Thank you, Olola. The beautiful name, by the way. So yes, thank you all so much. I see that we have a lot of people that are new here. I don't see anyone in the chat, so it means everybody on this call is very new to this session, right? It's very new to Amdari and what we do. So Amdari is a platform that helps you gain real-world experience through internship. And we focus on key career paths, especially career paths that are currently under the list of shortage skills in the UK, like data analytics, data science, data engineering, business analysis, project management, and cybersecurity, which we've gone ahead to break down into 3 major areas of specialization, like you have it in the industry today, right? SOC, ethical hacking, and GRC. Now, these career paths are career paths that are in demand. They are career paths that recruiters are hiring for. And from the introduction in the chat, I see that everybody who typed has taken a course in one of these career paths you see on my screen, right? They're taking a course in one of these career paths, which is amazing. Like I said earlier, there is a reason why I was asking the question, and it is to know if the people I have on the call are the people I prepared this session for, and it's amazing to see that that's very much the case, right? So they tell you these career paths are in high demand. They tell you that, oh, this career path, recruiters are hiring for them. But you've taken a course for a while now and you're still struggling to get a job. Why is that the case, right? Why is that the case? Why are you still struggling to get a job? That's exactly why we're here today, to let you know what the recruiters expect, what's going on in the mind of the recruiter. So why is the job market not favoring most people? We would address that. We'll take a look at the sponsorship maths, why you're still struggling to get a job, why it's a challenge getting a business sponsorship job also, and also the Amdari work experience and how you can plug in, as well as our special offer for you. Now, I've been talking, but I'm yet to introduce myself, so I will do that right now. My name is Omomi Victoria Samson, as you must have seen on the screen. I'm one of the co-founders at Amdari, and I'm the Chief Technology and Business Officer at Amdari. I'm also a career pivot coach. In the last 1 year, I've been able to help over close to 2,000 professionals in tech across the UK gain real-world experience, and how I've been able to do that is what I will break down in the session today. I've also worked across the edtech space, the film tech space, and the marketing industry in the capacity of a software engineer, business analyst, and also project manager. So the career trajectory has been fueled by passion, interest, and curiosity. And it's a beautiful ride so far. So I would also break down how Amdari was built from a place of personal experience, because I had to go through an internship program myself before I could get the first job, my first job in tech. The same thing applies to Ifemena Ipro, who is also one of the co-founders at Amdari, right? He relocated to the UK, worked in the warehouse for a while, and was able to get a tech job. He struggled to get a tech job at first, then eventually was able to get a business intelligence analyst role, and he has worked in Ireland, he has worked in the UK, he has worked in Canada also, and he has worked in different capacities: business data support lead, data analyst manager, global business systems analyst, business intelligence developer, and also management and data analytics consultant. And he's currently based in Canada. Then we have our other co-founder, Adeza Suleiman, who is also a tech expert with over a decade experience, just like Ifemena, over a decade experience, in my case, close to a decade experience working in this tech space. And again, similar story, relocating to the UK, struggling with landing a tech job. And honestly, what's really like one thing we all have in common is that internship, right? Seeing that recruiters expect you to have experience, but nobody's willing to give you a job because that job is how you gain that experience that they need you to have, right? So, like I said, Amdari was built from a place of personal experience and seeing that experience is not easy to come by. That work experience now, it's not easy to come by, right? And the type of experience that recruiters even need you to have to signal in an interview that you're ready is one that is also not easy to come by if you don't get to work in an actual team, right? And working on cargo projects or passion projects, random projects, it's not enough in terms of what these recruiters expect you to have today, right? So we'll address all of that. But like I said, Adeza is also one of the co-founders, and he has worked as a data science consultant in the UK and US, data analyst, business performance consultant with Sahara Groups, and he has also worked as a data analytics consultant with FTC, right? And he has vast experience working in the financial services space, sports, edtech, and also energy and automobile. He's currently based in Alberta, Canada. Now, to the main reason why we're here today. And once again, I appreciate you all so much. I need to say that for being on this call today. A lot of people have clocked out for the year, right? But some of us are still here saying that, you know what, let me just do one more thing before the year wraps up. Let me just get something else done. Again, like I said earlier, maybe it's something on your checklist that you still want to tick up, right? You're yet to tick it off. Of whatever reason that you're here today, I appreciate you, okay? You make it worth the while. Imagine me preparing the entire week and coming here today and nobody shows up. I would be so devastated. But the fact that you're here just makes my day. So I appreciate you for that. And I urge you to stay till the very end of the session because it promises to be worth your time. It promises to be worth your while. I will not waste your time for a second. I promise, right? So I would like us to start like this, right? The session today is talking about how to tell your career story in such a way that you are seen as a safe bet to a recruiter. You are seen as somebody job ready. You are seen as somebody who is visa sponsorship ready. So before we get into all of that fanciness, all of that, do this, do that, do this, do that, I would like us to do something. One thing I always say is, maybe you've not hired somebody in a corporate setting before, but I promise you, you have also had to give somebody a job. You've had to recruit somebody for a gig. You've had to give somebody a job. Maybe it's a furniture person for your new space. Maybe it's hairdresser for your hair, barber for your haircut, or probably you got a wedding dressmaker because, oh, you're getting married. But you, like I said, you've hired somebody at some point. And hiring somebody means you had to be convinced before you proceed with them. So I would like one or two persons to unmute themselves on this call and let me know something they look out for before they give somebody a job, right? Anybody amongst the audience, I would really love for you. Thank you. I love that energy. Thank you, Jeremiah. Please go on. What's that thing that would make you say that, okay, yeah, I'll give this person a job? Whoever the artisan we've engaged in the past is, right? What made you say that I would give this person the job? I would allow this person to do the job for me. Please go on. Answer.
Mainly for me, it's just proof of work. Like recently, I'm looking for someone to comb my hair, and I'm looking for someone that has like good work, maybe like a built IG profile, that has track record. That's the word. So here.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Jeremiah would look out for somebody that has track record, evidence, proof of work done in the past. Please, I'd like to take one more person. One more person. What would you look out for if you want to hire? Sandra says authenticity. That's my word. Amazing. Hi, Ololade.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Even if Jeremiah said track of record and I don't have that track of record to show, as long as I can convince or show passion, then I'm able to cut his hair beyond his expectation. He might just decide to give me the chance.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much, Ololade. Again, authenticity, track record, everything is just a proof of work done in the past, right? So now, if you who have also been in that position where you had to give somebody a job, right, consider certain things, then when the tables turn, right, when it's you on the other side of the recruitment table, meaning you're the person being interviewed this time around, then you need to also meet the recruiters at that level of their expectation, right? Because the same way you expect that person, that artisan that you're about to give a job to have track record, proof of work done before, or maybe you even need them to have a referral from somebody, right? The same way you just need that evidence, that proof. That's the same way they need you to have that evidence and proof. Now you go to a barber, you ask them to get your hair cut for you. You've not you're not a barber yourself, or you need somebody to make a dress for you. You don't make a dress either. All you can just do is, this is what I want. You just let them know your expectation. You want to trust them that you are capable of doing the job. So the essence of them doing the job for you is helping you get it done, helping you make a dress. Yes, you're paying them, but they are helping you make it get the dress made, right? That's the same thing that happens when recruiters hire you. When I introduced myself, I did not introduce myself as a cybersecurity person. So that means if I start a company today and the company is a fintech company, and I say that, and of course, fintech company will be dealing with people's cards, will be dealing with people's information and everything. I would need my platform to be secure. I would need my platform to not be vulnerable, right, to attackers and the likes. That would mean that I need a pen tester. So if I'm going to hire a pen tester and that pen tester looks like they are still learning, or they just got off boot camp, or they took some trainings on YouTube and the likes, what this is signaling to me is this person is not ready to help or contribute. I am not doubting that you're smart, intelligent, or that you're a fast learner, but this is a live platform, people's actual data, right? If there is a mistake already going on, I would not be able to spot it because I am not a cybersecurity person. And because you're just learning, you're new to this also, there are certain things that you will not be able to immediately spot based on you don't have experience. So you are not familiar with certain patterns or signs yet, right? So you wouldn't necessarily know that, oh, when something looks like this, then it is something about to happen. So you're immediately jumping on solving that problem. So if you need to have somebody that will now still walk you through, manage your process, manage you, show you or tell you what to do, or I would feel like you're not ready to contribute. So what that is telling me is I don't have that money to spare and get a senior person and then hire you still. Why do I need two people when, okay, one person that can get the job done? If I need to train you, then maybe you take time, go get that proper training, become job ready. When you're set and ready to contribute, then maybe you can join the team, right? Because like I said, I cannot help you, I cannot micromanage you. It's not my field. So I expect you to come into my team with that level of knowledge that I can also bank on and bet on, right? So recruiters buy-in is your biggest blocker. And what I mean by that buy-in is when you're not able to convince them, right? Because they're not really tilting towards that, oh, I am a fast learner, I am teachable, I am this. They don't have that time because of everything I just said. Maybe I have a new company. I want to launch my platform in the next 3 months. And then I have a new developer that just took a course. I promise you, we will be on that project for more than 3 months because he is just doing the job for the first time. What he has done so far has been taking courses after courses. We can't go live with that platform in 3 months. I would need an experienced person. Who knows? Maybe I want to use the MVP to even get some funding, right? So I'm a new business myself. So I would need somebody that can get the job done from the get-go. That's why you would see that companies would always go immediately for senior developers. You need to have proof of work done. Your portfolio needs to show all of that. And you need to also have samples of what you've done in the past. And I'm like, okay, yeah, can we get this done in 2 months? Sure, can we get this done? They can tell you based on experience that, okay, let's just work on MVP. 2 months, we would have the most important pages live, the ones that the early adopters can use. We can have it out there, like, and we can use it for the funding, to raise funding and the likes. I can bank on that kind of person. Or, oh, I'm still learning. I promise you, I started my career in tech as a developer. The first project I built after my normal training, practice, and everything, it took forever. Like, it took forever, a lot of mistakes, right? And it was done during internship. That internship really changed the game for me. So when the recruiter buying is what you're struggling with, you need to understand that they don't really hire the fact that, oh, you're a potential, or the assumption that you're a potential, because they are not willing to take that risk based off of everything that I've also said so far. So how you tell your story during an interview will determine whether or not they proceed with it. And that story is going to be a hint, a signal that you are job ready to contribute, ready to hit the ground running from day one. So when it doesn't look like you're ready to contribute, they will not go on with you. And I would show you the different pointers, because most times when I talk about these things, I don't like it to sound vague, because, oh, you're not job ready can mean anything. The signals that shows that you're not job ready can also mean anything. Sometimes you're like, but I've taken a course, but I've done I've worked on projects, right? But I went in for the interview, I prepped for it, my CV has been revamped, I really don't know what happens. Most times it's because we don't know the expectation, or when we talk about the job readiness signal, we don't know that certain things we say during an interview is a signal for that recruiter that you're ready or not, right? And I would highlight those signals as we proceed. In fact, what you see on my screen right now is just like the brief, right? So when you tell a recruiter, I am passionate, what you're saying is that you don't have proof of work yet, because there are ways that you can say that you are a passionate person without saying the word verbatim. You can show it through the work you've done in the past. You can show it through outcomes. You can show it through the process you followed to carry out a task and get the desired results. You can say you are passionate with just a single story without saying, I am passionate, right? You can also say that you are very much reliable without necessarily having to say, oh, I learned on my own, I'm self-taught. That means I really, really can grasp anything at any time, right? So when you say that you are self-taught, what you're telling them, or rather self-taught, what you're telling them is that you are unpredictable, right? How can I guarantee that the structure was in alignment with industry standards, right? Self-taught means you watched videos on YouTube, you watched videos on platforms, listening to different trainers and the likes. That's not an unstructured way of learning. I promise you, that self-taught approach was the approach I used. And one thing that really happened in my own case was I was all over the place. I took web development course by watching YouTube videos, and then there is this W3 schools, yes, and then there is another popular one that has a virtual there is not virtual, yeah, it had a virtual environment where you're practicalizing everything you're learning. Guess what that training called it? Hands-on. That was hands-on, yeah, no doubt about that. But there is no real business problem that I'm solving. So that hands-on is just building one calculator project, one landing page, one form, right? But nothing major in terms of business is tied to this. I am just building for practice. I'm just building to remember what I am learning, right? That's the essence of that virtual environment. But that training program would call it hands-on, because yes, it's really hands-on. I was practicalizing as I was learning. And the reason for that is so that you don't forget everything you are reading or learning, right? So when you now say you're self-taught, honestly, it's unpredictable, because the structure might be all over the place. And that was my approach. And what saved me, what helped me was internship. Because at that point, I'll go on LinkedIn, I'll see the different things that people like me in the domain as myself would have built. They'll be talking about projects. It's not the same thing as that calculator project I built. It's not the same thing as that form sign-up page and everything that I built. And unstructured in the sense that I started as a front-end developer, and I would sincerely wonder how my form is not working. Okay, when I fill this form, where does the data go, right? I did not understand the logic part. Did I attempt to understand it? Yes. I watched some videos. Okay, what happens when I create this? What happens when I create that? And at the end of the day, I would realize that everything I was putting out, right, was still all about. I wasn't understanding what I was doing. I wasn't understanding what I was learning. So it dawned on me that it's because I didn't have an actual mentor or somebody or a structured process to understand exactly what I was learning, right? So that was what led to the whole unstructured approach. And when you say that you're self-taught, you're just being unpredictable during an interview. Then when you say I am willing to learn, this says you need supervision. Remember what I said earlier, I am not a cybersecurity person, so I cannot supervise you. So my startup needs a senior person to supervise you, right? That means I don't need you on my team, right? Because I don't even have the money to pay a lot of staff right now. We're trying to raise money, we're trying to get customers, we're trying to get the word out there, we're trying to get people to even know that we exist. So I don't have that money to hire 10, 20 staff members. I am going to be working with a lean team. And if I'm working with a lean team, that means I need people that don't need supervision. Because I, as the CEO or the founder, trust me, I am already doing like 5 jobs, 10 jobs. So if I hire you, it's because that particular role I am hiring you for. I can't do it. Right? I can't do it. I can be a product manager on my project. I can be the developer, right, on my project. I can be the business analyst on my project, right? Based off of how I described myself during this conversation, remember. But then I cannot make my platform secure. I need a pen tester, right? So if I'm hiring a pen tester, I would need somebody that knows how to do it. So if you say that, oh, I'm willing to learn, I'm passionate, I'm self-taught, I'm not going to hire you because it's telling me you're unproven, you're unpredictable, and you need somebody to supervise. And I don't have the money yet to hire another senior person and then have a junior person and pay 2 people when just one person is getting the actual job done. And the other person is not contributing yet because they are still learning. So that's the reason why recruiters act that way. So you are evaluated by them based on predictability, not trust, not hope. I don't want to assume that, oh yeah, Clinton can get it done. Oh yes, I trust that she can. I mean, she said she's a fast learner. I want to trust that she can do it. No, I can't trust, right? I need to be able to predict based on those signals. Again, it's still a gamble, right? But at least it is very much reduced based on that proof of what I've seen, right? Based on that proof, it is reduced. So when recruiters don't hire you, it is not because you are foreign. Most times we say that, oh, I think it's because of the accent. Oh, I think that it's because of this, it's because of that. It's not because you're foreign. It's not because you're junior. It's not because you are at that early career stage. They reject you only because they don't understand if you can contribute immediately, right? Can you contribute immediately? Can you help when you join the team? Based off of everything I've said so far. And most times the signal, again, we'll get to the signal, right? Most times the reason why they also have that doubt is because you don't have all of those proofs to say that, yes, I can do it. I can get it done, right? And if you can prove them, and in my own case, I will tell you how that played out. It's not because you're junior, like I said. It's not because you're entry level. It's not because you're foreign or anything like that. The first job I got in tech, I got it 4 months into my internship. I got this job 4 months into my internship, and that's purely because I had built proof. I was so confident. I had things to show this person. I don't have to beat around the bush. Then I checked out my page. I looked at my feed, and I was like, do I look like the person that this founder would respond to? The answer was no. I deleted everything that did not convey me or portray me rather as a developer, somebody in the tech space, as a professional in practice. I deleted everything unrelated to my career, and then I posted images. And how did I have images to show? Because I went through internship. That internship was how I got to attend my first ever tech meetup, Google Developers Meetup, and I was one of the speakers there, right? It was my first event, and yes, I got to speak because my team lead at that time said, Omomi, I would like you to speak at this event. And I was like, this is even my first ever event. How am I going to be at that type of event and be speaking at the same time? And was like, are you saying you can't or you won't? That statement made the difference, right? So I was like, I'm not saying I can't. And then, of course, I can't say I won't, right? So I was like, can I think about it? Thank God I came back and said yes. And one thing I told myself that period was, because I really, really battled with like anxiety, right? So one thing I told myself is the worst that can happen at this event is I embarrass myself and disgrace my my generation, right? But do I want that to happen? No. So I prepped, I showed up for that event. That event was how I had another major proof, right, to back up my claim of experience and exposure. So I went to that event. I didn't disappoint myself. I didn't disgrace my generation. And images from there was one of the things I uploaded. Another one was Kotlin Meetup. Kotlin is a programming language in for software engineering, right? So I attended that also. And then, of course, my code, GitHub, everything like that. I have so much proof. And then I sent this recruiter, or rather, this founder, a DM. I didn't send it to their social media page or nothing like that. I sent this founder a DM and I backed it up with a lot of proof. I'll show us this message as we proceed, right? So, did I get the job? Yes, I did. I got the job not because I was junior level. That did not stop me. The audacity was one of the things that helped me. The proof of impact, the fact that I was showing this man that I am ready to contribute because I have contributed before, was enough to convince him. And I got that job within 24 hours. The company was in the UK. They also had a branch in Nigeria. So at that time, and then when he called me, was like, "Can you work remotely?" I said yes, right? I'll continue. I'll tell you how that ended as we proceed. So what makes you a safe bet is everything I just narrated from my own story, right? You show them a familiar work pattern, or rather pattern, right? You show them a familiar work pattern, right? The evidence of execution also. You show them this in a real system. And what I said earlier, I said, most times when we apply to jobs, we wonder why we don't get calls back. We wonder why our CV was ghosted. Or I actually went in for that interview, and honestly, I believe I did so well. Like I was very confident, etc. and everything like that. You're wondering why exactly they did not call you back or reach out to you and all of that. It's the signal. It's the little signs. So you're like, I worked on projects. I showed them my portfolio. They don't just want a random project to work on or a simulation. Did you work on something in a real system? Right? It is how you stand out. Now, the reason they didn't go ahead with you is not because you were not impressive. Honestly, it's possible you impressed them. And I tell people this. I can interview two people, right? One person was so impressive. I like the person's energy. I like the fact that this person has interpersonal relationship that is very admirable. This person is very confident, etc. Then I interview. So let's say person A is Elisha, right? And then I interview person B, and that's Abigail. And I speak to Abigail, and Abigail goes and she's also as confident as Elisha. And this time around, Abigail tells me where she worked, the things she did there, the team she worked with. She has added extra layer that I didn't get from Elisha. Was I impressed by Elisha? Yes. Did I like Elisha? Yes. But Abigail has given me more. Abigail worked in a team. Abigail has interacted with cross-functional teams, real system, real business problem, real impact. But what Elisha gave me is a lot of confidence and everything in between, but projects, right? Maybe simulation. Oh, I worked on some projects on cargo. I worked on this project, this data set, that data set, etc. I like the energy and everything, but someone else gave me more. You see that more? That's where we often miss out. So when we say that, oh, I really did well during that interview, I don't know what happened. It's because somebody else happened. Somebody with extra happened. So most times, your main challenge is not the fact that, oh, you've not really worked on yourself or something, but because you've not added that extra. Right? Recruiters right now want problem solvers. And just saying that I worked on a project on one platform or that platform is not enough to say that you solved a problem. Right? So they want you to say you used a tool to solve this problem, use a tool, and you are attaching it to an actual business challenge. That's how you stand out again. Then reference is another way to reduce uncertainty. Right? That uncertainty that comes with, I'm not sure this person, when there is another recruiter in the UK backing up your claim of work done, trust me, it is easy to get a reference or to get the job. And I would like to show us somebody from our internship program at Amdari. Remember at the start of this session, I introduced Amdari, and I told you that, oh, Amdari is a platform that helps you gain real world experience through internship, right? So I would quickly play a video for us right now so we can listen to Toyin. Now, one very beautiful thing that Toyin shared with us was the fact that when she went in for the interview, again, Toyin was one of our interns, right? When she went in for interview, right, she was one of the two people that were like last people standing, and she was picked. and they reference they made reference to the reference letter that she provided as the major factor that helped them to decide on working with her and not the other person. So now you would see that the other person would be like, I actually made it to the very last stage of the interview. But they won't tell that person that, oh, the reason we went with another person is because that person had preference. No, they won't tell you like that. That's not how they will communicate it to you. Just a minute, please. So that's not how they will communicate it to you. What they would really tell you is that, oh, we went with this person because this person, sorry, we didn't go with you. Let me just play it here since it's not playing from the other place. Okay, I'll come back to this. I don't know why Google is acting this way. Okay, I think it's better now. Yes, it's better. So let's quickly listen to, oh, that's weird, unexpected error. I really want us to listen to Toyin share her experience. Wait, just a minute. So I think I'll just come back to the slide that I am sharing, but I would still work on that video because I don't know why it's not playing right now. Okay, let's just come back to the slide then. So yeah, so as I was saying, right, one of the key things that Toyin shared was the fact that she got the job because of the reference that she had. And there were two people that were being considered, but she was eventually picked because of her own reference. So most times, what helps you to get the job is a multiple other things that others do not have, right? So yeah, let me see if it's going to play now. Okay. It's Google is still showing error. But yeah, I'll definitely come back to that. So when it comes to speaking during an interview, are you passing a message that says that you are a contributor, the signals again, or you are passing a message that says that you are still learning, the signals? I promise you, you don't know that you're doing that, you don't know that you're passing that message, but it is what we do sometimes. We are either communicating, I am a learner, I am still learning, or you're communicating, I am a contributor, I have contributed before, I'm ready to contribute here in this familiar environment, right? So the way you tell your story would either work for you or work against you. Now, most candidates end up telling the learning story. Like I said, I took a course, I followed tutorials, I practiced with data sets. Remember what I said earlier, it's not about practice, it's about actual doing. An internship, an actual work experience does not scream practice. Most times, and you would all agree with me, that most times what we say during interviews is we're screaming practice, practice, practice. We'll come back to that. Let me play it now. Okay, so like I said, I wanted us to just hear from Toyin how exactly the reference was the major thing that helped her get the job. Please, was there sound? Okay, I was about to ask. Let me stop sharing and share again. Thank you. Yeah, I would play it again. So we're just playing the video for few minutes, seconds rather. So we manage time very well. So I'll play that again. Thank you for letting me know. So she was just talking about the reference and how it helped her get the job out of the two people being considered. So if you hear anything now that I'm going to play it again, give me a thumbs up once you hear.
Learned at Amdari using them and all this. So it was pretty good. And then the reference too from your hand was pretty tight because they actually had to mention it that my references were hair tight, that they were actually considering two people, but my references actually nailed it for me.
Okay, amazing. All right, thank you very much. So I'll pause it there. But we saw everything also, right? Because it was a bit slow on my end. Just give me a thumbs up. You saw the video, right? Okay, thank you very much, video. Okay, so yes, the reference was one of the major things that really worked in Tony's case. Thank you, Shio. So as I was saying earlier, right? So when you go in for interviews and you're talking about the projects you worked on, most times you're just saying practice. And practice is not what gets you the job. That was why I said earlier that when Abigail is communicating more, she's not saying practice, she's saying actual work experience, actual problem solving, actual business challenge. She gets the job. right? Now, it's not practice, it's not tutorials, it's not course. Oh, I took a course, I learned how to use Excel, I learned how to use Wireshark, Splunk, I learned how to use Confluence, Notion, Draw.io. You're not saying you learned how to use. You're actually talking about a team you manage as a project manager, using Trello, using Jira, right? Using Microsoft Project, etc. You're talking about a data set that you really clean, that helps you make an informed decision for a business, that helps you make recommendations, that help that company make more money, save money, or make better decision, right? That help them tap into a new market, etc. You're talking about a vulnerability test that you carried out, right? Or a threat intelligence related test that you carried out that helped you to protect a particular system, make it secure, etc. You're talking about actual project, actual live project. You're talking about actual business challenges, customers, or rather stakeholders, people that have trusted you with responsibilities. Those little signals, they are the things that may or mar your chances of getting a job. When the signal is now, and most times you don't know you're doing it, right? That was why I said we go into interviews, we say, oh, and they liked me. In fact, we had good conversation. What about the signals? What were those signals you gave them? Were you telling them you're a contributor, or you were telling them that you are a learner? Now, being a contributor also, it's still broken down, and I would explain all of that. So please just bear in mind, recruiters are not hiring students. They hire contributors, people who are ready to help. So look at it from this angle, how you can actually tell the story that recruiters want. The story starting from learning to doing to impact, right? Learning to doing to impact. Please pay attention to that impact part, not practice. And there is no way you can make impact if what you've done is simulation on one platform that does internship. Most times people would say, Amdari, your internship, is this similar to this? Is this similar? Amdari gives you an actual team to work in, actual team leads and mentors, actual business problems to solve, actual impacts that you'll be making, proper presentation, proper stakeholder conversation, proper team, environment, workflow, etc. Right? Not watch some videos, attempt this. Trust me, if as a project manager, what you're doing is simulation, you would end up using ChatGPT to imagine your developer to lie. You'd use ChatGPT to imagine your other team to lie. Then you use ChatGPT to generate your solution and you're submitting it. That's not experience. That is practice. Recruiters don't hire practice. They don't also hire learners. They hire impact, contributors, right? That's what they hire. So when you go for interview, if you're indicating that you practiced, you can't get the job. Recruiters are smart. They pay attention to signals. You can say all the right things, but what are those right things signaling to them? Practice, learning, it's a no. For impact, right, business problem, teams, it's a yes, right? So when you say that you've learned, it's not okay. But when you say you've worked with production style data, and out, this is vague right now. I'll still break it down like I said. So when you say you worked with production style data to answer business questions under deadline, right? And also business questions only lead to more insights, right? More discovery and more things that would allow you to make smart business decisions. When you say all of this, it makes it very easy, right, for them to see the signs. Now, this is one person from our internship program that landed a job. And I'll tell you something. This person landed a job because he had actual stories to tell. Now, he shares this good news with his team lead. He says, "Hi, Emeka, just wanted to officially let you know that I've landed a data analyst role within the civil service, and it's a level promotion too. I was asked to prepare a presentation on any data analytics project. I edited and submitted our first project, saved me a lot of time and gave me confidence. I also spoke about the SQL project when they asked about data acquisition." This is the key part for me. He spoke about the SQL project when they asked about data acquisition. That's the storytelling part. Now, from this storytelling part, what were the signals that Jerry gave these recruiters that made them see him as a safe bet, right? We're still going to talk about the safe bet that leads to sponsorship. We'll get there, right? And you see how some of our interns have landed visa sponsorship jobs because they were seen as safe bets, right? So just asking, are there success stories from UK? This is one of it. All the success stories are UK success stories, right? And we have for US also, which I'll show you, right? So every story I've been sharing so far, they are No. Like Amdari is located in Canada and UK. We're not located in Nigeria at all, Victor. And every intern in the program, 90% of our interns are in the UK. The remaining 10% US and Canada, right? Yes, we have people who join from Nigeria, but 90% UK, and all of them that you're seeing here, UK, all of them. So let me share the video from Jerry with us real quick. So this is it right here. Jerry got this job with the civil service in the UK. I'm sure you saw it in the testimonial, but let's listen to Jerry for just 2-3 minutes, and then we'll be back to our conversation. If you cannot hear anything, please nudge me on time. You can give me a thumbs up. So I'll
right. So screen. Congratulations once again, Jerry, on landing the data analyst role in the UK.
Thank you, Mom.
So it doesn't.
Okay.
So yeah, so before Amdari, right, I'd like to know, because this is like something that most newbies in tech, people transitioning into tech face, right? It's a very familiar challenge, which is the struggle of, the biggest struggle pretty much of a newbie. So I'd like to know essentially, what was the biggest struggle you faced, or the biggest challenge trying to land a job in tech or trying to transition into tech newly?
Okay. So thank you very much for that question, Mom. So for me personally, and to be honest, so the biggest challenge that I would say that I had at that time was relatable experience. Like, of course, I know that a lot of people don't have experience, but mine is just experience that interviewers can relate to. That's what I never had at that time and all of that. Yeah, so because back forward to Amdari, so of course I did a couple of some analysis, but not industry related analysis. They were in the academia. And I could remember that a couple of interviews that I attended, and then one of the interviewers told me that he has never seen anybody as passionate as I was when it comes to data, because I spoke at length. But all the project I was given, they could not relate to it. Like they were lost, because these were analysis that I did when it comes to environmental data. This is someone coming from environmental studies, and all the project I was giving them the environmental data, so they couldn't relate to it. So for me, so even when it comes to applying, so one thing I realized that I didn't have at that time was experience that recruiters could relate to, industry experience, and that was actually big. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Thank you very much. And I really love the fact that you mentioned something very key, which is experience that recruiters could relate to. The passion was there, everything else was there, but just something that they could say, okay, yes, we're familiar with this, and we feel like we can already envision how he's going to bring that value into the system or into this company,
100%.
which is very, very, very vital. Thank you. So how would you say the experience at Amdari really helped you scale that challenge, right? Helped you go from being that person that would show off passionately but have no relatable project. So how would you say you went from being that person to that person that eventually got the job, right?
Okay, yeah, of course. And then I'm very happy to talk about it, because I never thought that this was going to happen like this soon, actually. So and then I can remember where I was at that time. So and then I think it was on Instagram, and then I saw Amdari, and then I saw the advert, experience and all of that, as like big consultant and all of that. So I was a bit skeptical at first, because I wasn't looking for bootcamp, because of course I had the basics, even though not advanced and all of that. I was looking for something that could actually, I was looking for real and true place where I can learn, and not just learn, where I can gain hands-on experience. I mean practical experience. And this is exactly what I got at Amdari. And of course, and one thing that I would say was that, of course, one of the key things that I got at Amdari that helped me when it comes to applications and interviews was I actually worked on real projects and relatable projects. Of course, I worked on, as like projects in logistics, supply chain, energy, healthcare, social media. And when I was talking about them in interviews, these were things that they could relate to. When I talk about sales, when I talk about all this, these are things that they could actually relate to all of that. So I would say that this gave me like things to talk about. And of course, and during interviews, one thing I also realized was that when you're asking questions, it's not just about knowing these tools and all of that. How have you used the tool before? And I remember one of the things that one of the interviewers once asked me that, okay, that how do you approach a business problem? And if you haven't solved the business problem before, there is no way you can just cook up answers and all of that. So and that is one key thing about Amdari. Every project is about solving a business problem. And of course, and that comes from going from the project brief, introduction, and all of that. So I would say that all these things, were things. And another thing I would say that also helped, of course, that is going from knowing the basics when it comes to using tools, Excel, and then to going.
So because of time, I would stop it there, because it's a 9-minute long video, right? But I'm attaching the link to this testimonial to this particular slide I'm sharing. So if you'd like to receive this slide, please ensure you fill the attendance form that my colleague is dropping in the chat, right? She's been dropping it. So we'll be sharing the slide to this session with you. So if you'd like to receive it, like I said, please fill the attendance form, right? And we'll also be sending a couple of things like the list of 133,000 plus companies that are sponsoring in the UK, the most updated version, the very recent one. We'll be sending it also to you via email. So if you'd love to receive this, please fill the attendance form that my colleague is dropping in this chat. So you can see how passionate Jerry has spoken about the experience he got at Amdari, right? The fact that every project you work on at Amdari is you solving a business problem. The fact that every project that you solve, you work on at Amdari is a story waiting to be told during an interview. And the convincing aspect is just those signals. And you would agree with me that Jerry had all of that. Now, here's another intern of ours, Pedro, who got a visa sponsorship job in the UK. Just in the same fashion as Jerry, he shared the good news with his team lead. So Pedro is one of our SOC analysis interns, and he says, "Hello, Victoria. Hope your day went well. I received an offer today. Thanks for all your support and encouragement." Of course, she goes on to congratulate him, and then she says, "Hope the pay is great and you're good with the offer." He says yes. 36% more comes with visa sponsorship too. And then he says, "I am just so grateful to God the internship opportunity with Amdari and your support." And then he says, "My friends are signing up for the cohort. It is really a great experience." He wouldn't recommend Amdari to his friends if they were not getting the most out of this particular internship program. So you see what I'm saying, right? And this visa sponsorship job was gotten just early December. He got it this year, this month, this December, the first week. Now, you won't share this good news with your team lead if they were not invested in your growth, right? And all of that. That's how much invested every team lead and mentor you work with during your internship at Amdari goes as far as investing their time and committing to making sure that you apply to as many jobs as possible. You are also even made a professional in practice first before you go and start applying. And you start applying as early as 5 weeks into the internship. Because I promise you, Jerry got the job 2 months in. Pedro, that I just showed us, got the job 4 months into the internship. The internship itself is for 4 months, right? He got the job 4 months into the internship. We have other people that got the job 3 months in, and I'll show us other people as we proceed. Now, let's take a look at this, right? This is my own story. I told us earlier that I also shoot my shot, and this was 4 months into my internship. If you look at the message, this was Instagram. I sent it on Instagram and LinkedIn. I wasn't sure when he was going to respond to me first, so I sent it on Instagram and LinkedIn. And here I said, of course, there were other messages. I just kind of did a screenshot of the most important, the part where I told him about me briefly and the part where he followed up, right? So, but there were conversations in between. So I said, I just decided to send you a DM because I find your post inspiring and I really look forward to probably working with you. He says, "Work with me, that would be nice." I said, "That's if you don't mind." He says, "What do you do?" Then I go on to tell him I'm a web developer, told him I completed a training, and then I said, I'm currently applying to, I mentioned it here also. I think there was a part where I mentioned that I was doing my internship and all of that, and the project I had worked on. The other part of this message that is missing is the GitHub links and every other detail about the project. I sent him my GitHub link, and remember what I said earlier, I had revamped my page to have proof, because this is one thing that you need to bear in mind. Before these people would respond to you, they would check you out, right? And they would see if you're worth their response or not. Like, okay, I think this person looks the part. Let me just hear from them, right? So I had gone on to change what my page looked like, posting, you know that thing they say that me, when my boss follows me on Instagram, then you are posting as if you're enjoying your work. You're posting as if you love your job, right? So I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I was going to shoot my shot to a founder. So I posted things that made me look like I knew what I was doing in the space. And then when so that he would respond. The minute I got his attention, I sent him my GitHub link. I sent him everything else. And I had 2 websites live at that time. I had some projects I contributed to also on GitHub. And then I had one mobile app on, what's the word now? On Play Store at that time. So I sent him all of that. So the next day, you can see the date is June 2019. So he says hi. Then I said, hi, sir, how is work? He said, how are you? Are you interested in the XYZ job? I said, I am fine. I am interested 100%. He says, drop your number. I dropped my phone number. And that call was where that was where he hired me. And I resumed the next day. I promise you. That job sponsored my relocation 7 months later. This job that I got by just shooting my shot, it sponsored my relocation 7 months later. And what I was just even because I was giving it my all, I wanted to just go from entry level because the role I got was entry level. So I wanted to go from that entry level to showing that I could do more, I could contribute more, and I was capable of more. I wanted to be trusted with more also, so I could get promoted and stuff like that. I sincerely did not know that it would come with all of that, and of course increased pay because I wanted an increased pay, right? So it came with all of that and relocation sponsorship, right? I'll show you the reference. I'll show you a sample. So we give both. It depends on how recruiters request. Some recruiters would request that we send a reference in a letter-headed format, right? Like a reference letter. Some recruiters would request for us to fill a reference form. So it's like appraisal. So we would fill that form for them based on any question they input there. Like I said, some forms would come in form of appraisal. And other times they would just request for reference contact details so that they would call us. So they get to call one of the co-founders at Amdari, that's Ibimena Iko. So that's how it comes. So it depends on the different forms for the request. I'll show you an example, like I said, at Janibo. Yeah. So here's an example of a sample story you can send to the DM of a recruiter, right? Hi, sir or ma, I've been following your work. You need to acknowledge what they're doing, right? You need to make sure that you are abreast so that, because you need to be interested for you to even say you want to work with them. So you need to show a sign of that interest and respect, right? So, and admiration. So just let that be highlighted. Like I said, I'm sharing this slide. If you would like to have it, please fill the attendance form that my colleague is dropping, right? Yes, Aurora, I'll get to that in a few minutes. I'll get to that. Yes, even those project samples, I'll get to that in a few minutes. Thank you. So yes, so all of this, so I'll share the sample message so you can have it also. So you show your admiration and appreciation for their work, and then just go straight to introducing yourself. I'm a project manager who recently led a cross-functional team through tell them about the project brief, and it can be like a project launch, system migration, process overhaul, etc. Tell them about it. And then the project was behind schedule. You need to talk about one kind of problem, right? So it makes you look like you came to save the day, or it makes you look like you know how to save the day, right? Because I promise you, any project to work on, you will encounter one. It might just not be too big of a challenge, but there would always be a challenge. There would always be something, right? So you want to highlight something like that when you're talking about it. It makes you look like an elite job applicant, right? So the project was behind schedule when I took it on. Within XYZ weeks or months, we realigned scope, improved stakeholder cadence, and delivered with just talk about that measurable impact, right? Just talk about that measurable. It can be launching on time, it can be reducing delivery cycle, it can be saving costs, like I said, or making more money because of an initiative you even introduced in the process. You're looking smart already. I would respond to your DM if you type something like this to me, right? I'm currently exploring PM roles where execution discipline and stakeholder management are critical. You also want to sound like somebody that, you know, is skilled with some soft skills. Soft skills are things that recruiters want you to have. Oh, you execute like crazy. You take initiative. You're a problem solver. You take ownership. These little things, they look out for it. I promise you. So if you sound like somebody that you work at the core of this type of skills, they would definitely want to speak further with you, right? So then you can let them know that you would love to hear from them, right? And you can end it with your best regards. I didn't bother to include that because, of course, you just know, oh, I would look forward to hearing from you soon. I look forward to your earliest response, etc., right? So what are those signals in your story that make you look like a fit? When you talk deadline, when you talk stakeholders, when you talk teamwork, when you talk impact, business problem, not practice. So when you talk feedback loops, right? When you talk accountability, when you also talk revisions, it is showing that somebody trusted you with something Because business problem means you are working in a production style environment, right? You are working in an actual workspace, so they can trust you easily. So they just want these signals. If you're not including these signals in your story when you go in for an interview, you might not get the job. Because if you're not giving them the signal, you're giving them another signal. You're passing one signal. So it can either be this or the other, right? But I promise you, there is a signal you're passing. It's not possible that you go in for an interview and you're not passing a signal. So if you're not passing this one, you're passing the other. We all know the other, your learning story. So it's either you're telling a contributor story, a problem solver story, or you're talking a learning story. It's going to be one of them, right? And you don't want it to be the learning story, whatever you do, or practice story. Don't tell practice story, please. Talk actual contribution, production style contribution, right? Live project style contribution, real business problem type contribution. That's what you want to talk about. Let's listen to Anita, who got a job 2 months into the internship at Amdari. She got a business analyst role, again, in the UK, right? She got a business analyst role 2 months into the internship program at Amdari. So listen, Anita share her experience. So let me just close this real quick. Where's Anita's video? Yeah. So just for 2 minutes, right? I would just like us to listen to how this internship played a key role in her own journey as well. And you will hear the signal also. It's 2 minutes in. So I'll stop it after 2 minutes.
So I mean, you got a job offer just a few months, I think about 2 months into the program. So how does that feel? You got a business analyst role. So how does that feel?
Yeah, feels feels exciting. Yeah, feels exciting.
Yeah. Amazing. That's actually great to know. So what specific skills or experience from this Amdari program would you really say gave you that confidence to ace your interview?
So I would say being in the shoes of a consultant actually helped because you're solving business cases, you're preparing the documentation. So having deeper experiences or having firsthand deeper experiences into creating all the business requirement documentations, using all of those tools, going deeper into business analysis itself was a good one for me. So it just helped prepare me for whatever interview was coming.
Awesome. So what would you say the reaction of the recruiters was like during the interview process? You ended up landing in senior business analyst role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the reaction like when they saw the quality of the project, or even from you talking about the projects you worked on? What was their reaction like as a result of what you built, the experience you gained, and what you could do?
I could only see a reaction of, okay, this is the girl we are looking for. This is the person we want to work with, right? And that was because having had experience working with those processes as a consultant in Amdari, I was able to defend those projects, talk about the project in depth. I was able to talk about the tools used in the project, cost of the project, benefits, which is everything you would learn and do as a consultant in Amdari. So the only reaction I got was, this is our girl, this is the person we want. Because even at the interview there, they already started asking me how long I needed to give notice in my current job, and then showing me and telling me about the office, what I should expect and all of that. So
Okay. Yeah, so let me stop it there, right? So like I said, I just want us to quickly listen to Anita and how this also helped. The signals were there, and you could tell that she said, according to her, right? They like the signal was what made them say that, okay, this is our girl, right? This is the person we want, like, and it was obvious. They even made it very obvious to her because they were asking her questions that also was telling her that, okay, I've gotten the job. They were asking her notice period from her current place of work, right? They won't be asking you such questions if they've not made up their mind right there on that call, right? So you can already tell how that went. That was how convincing she was. And that's because beyond the experience that Larry gives you, we also prep you for interview every Thursday throughout your 4 months internship. You also get the one-on-one interview prep just by picking any time slot or any day that works for you, and I'll tell you how that plays out, right? And we revamp your CV and optimize your LinkedIn. But remember, I said we make you a professional in practice first, then we make you reflect on your CV. So you can see this person says, I started getting interviews after joining Amdari. The CV template really helped me. This person says, hi Jennifer. And this message came in a month into when this person, sorry, 2 months into when this person joined us. This person says, hi Jennifer. I just want to thank you and the Amdari team for the amazing work you guys are doing. May God bless you all. Guess what? I got the job, right? So you can already tell the quality of experience that they are getting. And we revamp CVs and we start encouraging you to apply to jobs from week 6, not when you're done with the internship and all of that. We start making you apply from the 6th week, because your CV is revamped by week 5. And because you work on 5 to 6 projects during this internship, that means these projects, by the end of each project takes 2 to 3 weeks completion. So week 5 means you completed 2 projects. That's good enough for us to revamp your CV, right? So that's why from week 5, your CV is revamped. From week 6, you've attended 6 interview preps. Remember I said every week, Thursday, every week, you need to attend interview prep. You've attended 6 interview preps already. Honestly, you are good enough to start applying to jobs. That's why our interns land jobs 2 months in, 3 months in, even 1 month in. And I'll show you somebody that got a job in the US just 1 month into the program. So this person also got a project management job, and he sends the message to his team lead. Then his team lead shares the good news with us. He says, my intern landed a PM job at Lloyd. And then he shares their chat. And the chat says, one day, I just got a call from Deloitte that the interview was successful. Starting onboarding in August. To God be the glory. If you look at the screen here, on his LinkedIn, it says that he started his internship at Amdari March 2025. And here his message is saying, starting onboarding in August, meaning this message came in July. So March to July, that's 3 months. So he got the job 3 months in. You can check him out on LinkedIn, Francis Afua, right? You can check him out on LinkedIn. Then we also have, so that's the good news, right? And when it comes to you being a job applicant, your CV and your interviews are either making you look like a learner or a problem solver. And you want to be the problem solver, you want to fall on the problem solving side of things, because like I've been saying, that's what gets you the job, right? So you need to position as somebody who is an asset with evidence in pounds. Oh, I saved cost, I made money, right? So if you're not doing that yet, you need to do it, because that's how you flip from being, a risk to these recruiters to being somebody that they can say, yes, this person is job ready. We'll be wrapping up shortly so I can take questions, right? We're wrapping up shortly. Now, what's the trust core your story must have? Point 1, have you done this before? Have you done this task before? If it's a yes, that's good. Did you solve problems? Now, because if you say you've done this before, it can be practice, like I said earlier. It has to be an actual business problem. So did you solve an actual business problem? If it's a yes, amazing. Your story needs to have that, solving that business problem. Level 3, you need to show that you worked in a structured team. There are signs of collaboration, signs of teamwork, signs of cross-functional exposure. Because I made a reference earlier. How can you say you're a project manager working on launching a product and you say you have experience, but the best you've done is maybe one practice project that you saw on a platform, and you had to imagine your developer into the picture. You had to imagine your business analyst into the picture. You had to imagine your UI UX. You don't do that at Amdari. You have these actual team members. Throughout your 4-month internship, you don't work alone. So did you work in a structured team? Is it a yes or a no? It has to be a yes, right? Where you trusted with important work, right? That's where you're different from somebody that did practice and you that actually solved problems. So if you were trusted with an important work, that makes you even more elevated. You're an elite job seeker now, because, okay, you're talking about the quality of the project that you were trusted to handle, right, by an organization playing in this type of space. I promise you, you are beginning to build that level of, you're beginning to make them convinced that you can get the job done. And then finally, did your work make impact? Impact meaning making money in pounds, saving costs, right? Saving costs, saving time, helping the business discover a new market, or helping the business get more customers, right? Or create more awareness. Impact just has to deal with growth, right? Whether you're saving costs, you're still helping them grow. Whether you're giving them more money or helping them expand into a new market, you're helping them scale, right? So your storytelling needs to check certain boxes, which I have mentioned, right? The context awareness. Do you understand environment and constraints? Constraints can only be understood when you've done it before in a familiar environment. You already know that these are the typical obstacles, these are the typical issues, and this is how best to tackle it. This is how best to start a project, bearing in mind that there is always a typical issue, right? So if I go about it like this, we're definitely going to be avoiding this because, again, constraints and being familiar with that environment. When your story has this, it's a check mark for you, right? So those signals, when you're telling the story, is it lacking this? If it's lacking this, you're not helping. Decision making, why did you choose that action? When you're telling your story, and from everything I've shared from our intent, you could tell that they had to tell stories. So when you're telling your story, at what point did you let me know that you're somebody that can make a decision? That makes you look smart. That makes you look, I've been using elite too much, pardon me, right? But honestly, you just need to be an elite job seeker. When you go for an interview, every recruiter would want somebody like you on their team, right? So when you communicate decision making and you're able to let them know why you made that decision, why you took that action, they're like, okay, those signals, that is convincing them. They might even sit back like, okay, amazing, right? Now, execution-wise, how did you get others to move with you? You are a project manager. How did you get the team motivated? Deliver on timeline. Because one thing that your team will do, I promise you, because they know you are the accountable person to the stakeholders, right? And you are the person that they are accountable to. They might try to, especially, it depends on the rapport you now have with them. A lot can go in. That's why soft skill is important. You can have a cordial relationship with your team, but you're stern on your expectations. So they know that, okay, when it comes to work, this person is going to joke with us. Well, we need to get the work done. We need to get this done and that done. When you talk about how you motivate your team or how you get your team to get things done without being a toxic team lead, amazing. You can even try to brag a bit. Their question might not even be in line with something that would help you brag about your leadership skills, but take any opportunity you have, every advantage, to brag about those skills that makes you stand out. Leadership, for me, I always brag about my leadership skill. The fact that I can get people to actually get the job done, and the fact that I execute like crazy. So even if your question is not in that direction, and you realize that you said so much that they don't even have, they're convinced, like they're like, okay, so they might ask you a few questions, and you're like, okay, that's all from my end, because you've gone on to say so much more that ended up selling you, and make sure that it is not irrelevant to the interview. Yes, your deviating does not mean deviate in a way that is not relevant. You can deviate or digress, and it is very much relevant to how you're selling yourself. And then don't forget the impact. What changed because of your involvement? Brag, please. Honestly, in fact, sometimes the question might not be, you can talk about a department that is not directly the department you work in, but you'd realize that something is not working right, or there is something they could have done better, and your contribution, let them know what that contribution was, right? In fact, you can say, also, we're having a meeting, and I don't work in the marketing or sales department, but we typically have this meeting where every department comes together. And during that meeting, again, I don't work in the sales department, but the sales team was giving a report about our sales and all of that. And I realized that from the previous reports they've given, there was this pattern. So it made me immediately realize that, okay, maybe they are not trying something else. Maybe they're not doing this, or maybe they're not doing that. So I gave them this suggestion. Talk about that actual suggestion I gave, right? So I told them to adopt maybe a more organic approach to getting customers, to getting the word out. They can either create an event that would help us attract our actual target audience, like a free event that brings them together, makes them aware of this. And yes, we actually took that action. In fact, I volunteered to work with the team, right? I volunteered to work with them in making it come to life. And we worked on it, and that actually helped us increase our conversion to like 30% more. They didn't ask you anything whether, oh, did you ever work with an external team? No. You're just trying to show the different level of impact you can make in a team. Signal. right? So the STAR approach works, but the CARE approach works even better. That's context, action, result, evaluation. Again, I am breaking this down so that you don't miss any signal. Your story must have these signals, right? The context, how do you frame a story around, this? Like, how do you frame a story such that there is a proper context? If you leave out context, you will lose them. Context is your backstory. Context is your foundation. If you don't include context in your storytelling, you would lose them. And you cannot just take it, anyhow, like vibes and inshallah. Please don't do vibes and inshallah. You need to have a structure to your storytelling. It has to be context. That's the foundation. I was managing a cross-functional team of 8. I was managing a cross-functional team of 8 during a product rollout with a fixed launch deadline tied to revenue target. The team I worked with, talk about your role now, right? Again, I'm trying not to make my slide wordy, so permit me, some things are not there. So talk about your role in that capacity. So I was working as the business analyst, and in this situation, I managed this cross-functional team. We had a project manager on it, we had the product designer, and we had the developer, right? So it was a product rollout that we wanted to do, and we had a fixed launch deadline. There was no way we would meet that deadline because it is tied to revenue target. Sales needs to shoot out that content. Blah, blah. Just give context beyond what I wrote. Please, like I said, I can't make my word and my slide wordy, right? So then the action. So I realized that the issue wasn't effort, but unclear ownership. I restructured the workflow, right? I restructured the workflow, introduced weekly checkpoints or stand-up meetings, right? And aligned stakeholders on a single delivery plan. You're talking about how you managed your team to make sure that you guys have that clear ownership structure. Everybody knows that, oh, I'm the CEO of my department. You let them know that. And this approach helps you to achieve a certain result. We delivered on schedule. Reduced rework by 30% because you guys now have checkpoints. You're meeting twice a week, 3 times a week, or even every day rather, during your stand-up or sprint meetings, right? And then we're able to regain stakeholder confidence. Obviously, you'll be able to because you saved time. There was no rework. The stakeholders will trust you. Oh, just give her the job. She will get the team to get it done, and they would not waste time, right? So you'll be trusted with so much more responsibility. Now, evaluation is very important. It's something we often miss. So you can see something like that reinforced the importance of early alignment, which I now prioritize at the start of every project. What you're saying is, this is your approach. This is how you work. If we hire you, you would bring this mindset to my team. Would you hire? So please, if you're in an interview, you are the recruiter, somebody frames a story like this, would you be convinced or not? Give me a thumbs up if you're convinced by that person. Give me a thumbs down if you're not convinced by that person. Thank you, Gideon. You guys, if I'm sharing something today now, that's how Gideon will take it home. It's going to take the gift home because Gideon has been he has been engaging with me since the start of this. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Okay. So what makes a story perfect, right? The non-negotiables. Thank you, everybody. Mataya, I'll come to you. That's you raising your hand to ask a question. I'll come shortly, right? So what makes a story perfect? The non-negotiables that makes your interview super perfect. Have clear stakes. Something could have failed. Again, please let them know that you saved the day. You were the knight in a shining armor that just came and, please sell yourself like that, right? Those things that you envisioned could have gone wrong, but you immediately swung into action and got things done. That's also telling me something. Proactiveness, foresight, right? That's what it's telling me. I would want somebody like that on my team. Then show personal ownership. Founders want people that would say that they own something. So if you look at all of this now, it's all soft skills. How does your technical skill tie into this? It's simple. You can't talk about what you did without mentioning the tools, the technicalities and all. But if you miss these little things that I've been saying, the ownership, right? The initiative, the proactiveness, you don't want to miss it. So show personal ownership in your story. Demonstrate judgment under pressure, right? How you were able to make a very, very difficult decision, right? You didn't need the founders to be in the picture. That's showing that you don't need to work with You don't rely on founders. No founder reliance in your case, right? Or reliance rather in your case. Every founder wants somebody that can just own the process and make them feel like, yes, I have a capable person on my team. And end it with reflection, like what were the lessons learned? For every project you work on and you learn something from it, it's just something that would help you improve and do better on the next project. So now let's take a look at the roles that recruiters hire for. We've talked about the different things. Oh, it's important to have this signal in your story. It's important to have that signal. But then you have all of the signals. But this job you're applying to, is it one that is under the list of jobs that recruiters are highly hiring for? If it's a yes, amazing. I asked the question at the start of this session. Have you taken a course in any of this career path? And people gave me a lot of people gave me thumbs up. So recruiters are constantly hiring for data engineering roles, data analytics roles, data science roles, cybersecurity roles, business analysis roles, and project management roles. If you find yourself in any of these career paths, you are good. Now, I said something. I'll be sharing a list of business sponsorship companies with all. I have over 133,000. If you'd like to have this list, please fill the attendance form that my colleague just dropped again. She just dropped it now. Please fill the form and we will send this to your DM. Amdari also has a platform where you can apply to business sponsorship jobs. If you'd like to have access to this also, you need to be an intern in the program. How do you enroll for this internship? That's where we're going to. So you fit a career path. You've taken a course in business analysis or project management or cybersecurity or data analytics or data science, any of those. You've taken a course in that, right? In one of that. So don't work on practice project. I've said this over and over. Things that you need to look out for: stakeholder meetings, client feedback, real business challenge, real tools, collaboration, real deliverables, and actual work experience and reference. Somebody that can vouch for you that, yes, this person has worked and I'm vouching that this person can get the job done. I promise you, I'm not playing any more videos. We've played a lot of videos today already. Now, this is another person that got a job as a GRC specialist under cybersecurity. For every career path I have shown us today, we have people that have gotten jobs in it, right? So I'll skip this part because I would have wanted us to take assessments, but I know that Google Meet has a problem with people being able to click on links, so we don't take too much time. So when you're told that you need experience, but yet you're locked out of places that give it, what are you now expected to do? That's why we created Amdari. Amdari gives you that experience in those fields that companies are sponsoring for, the fields that I've mentioned so far, right? Now, one beautiful thing is this experience is delivered to you by amazing team leads that are invested in your growth and progress in this program. They are not volunteer mentors, right? They are full-time mentors at Amdari that work with you. And what they cover is amazing. They are professionals and experts in the field with nothing less than 5 years experience working in that capacity. Now, let's say you people on this call today, right? Everybody on this call today, let's say you enroll for the program at Amdari for the internship that is starting on the 10th of January. That's the same way you would have a WhatsApp group, just like this team had their own WhatsApp group, which says Amdari August cohort data analytics. And this team was onboarded in November. That was last month. So you can see their party message to their team lead for you to know how much impact she had on them. So they say, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for your guidance and support during my internship. I truly appreciate everything I have learned from you. To my amazing colleagues, see you all at the top. Remember, I said you won't be working alone. This person says, thank you, Jennifer, for being an amazing mentor. It was a pleasure meeting great minds. I pray we excel in all our endeavors. Definitely going to miss the drop-in sessions. The drop-in session is the twice in a week meeting that our interns have. So it's like your stand-up meeting, those checkpoints I mentioned earlier, right? For alignment, for conversations, updates on what you all are working on. Now, this is another feedback from one of our interns to Jennifer. They say, thank you, Amdari. I truly cherish every moment here. Within my first month of joining, I was fortunate to land my first data analytics role with a US-based fintech company. She said, my first data analytics role. This person's first time of gaining experience was Amdari. She says, a special thanks to Jennifer for your support and efforts. Goodbye, everybody. Right? So you can see how invested the team lead can also be in your progress. So every team lead, and Amdari has over 40 specialists, mentors, and teammates, right? So it's not just, oh, one person or two persons. No, every team has their own team lead, right? And you are assured of quality people because that's how we've specifically gone ahead to pick them. So what Amdari focuses on is enhancing that technical skill you've gone ahead to learn when you took a course by giving you actual projects to work on, business problems where you can make actual impact on businesses. These projects are assigned to you during a project briefing. And like I said earlier, you work on 5 to 6 projects in the course of your 4-month internship. Because this 4-month internship means, because each project means you have 2 to 3 weeks of completion, right? So the timeline is always 2 to 3 weeks for every project. And throughout your project execution and the 4-month internship, you are going to be meeting twice a week. Now, this internship, are you expected to show up 9 to 5? Is it that, rigorous and all that? No. You can commit a minimum of 1 hour per day to this program, a minimum of 1 hour, and you're good to go, right? And in that course of that 1 hour, you can work on your task. But then remember I said, and oh, by the way, it's Mondays to Fridays, and it is remote, right? It is remote. So remember earlier I said that, oh, you're expected to commit a minimum of 1 hour or 2 hours. Yes, if you can do 2 hours, that's perfect. If you can do 3 hours, even better, right? So, but then, yes, you work Mondays to Fridays, but your meetings are twice. Now, that twice in a week meeting, it's not Amdari that imposes the day or the time on you. And it's not me on Discord. I would say, oh, Jeremiah, oh, Sandra, your team is going to meet Mondays and Fridays, 8 p.m. Oh, Clean Team or Olalade, your team is going to meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. No, it is going to be Olalade and a teammate that would pick the date and the time that works for them. It is going to be Clinton and his teammate that will pick the days twice, right? 2 days in a week, and the time that works for them. Then you let your team lead know. So your team lead is not even going to be the one to pick your time for you. You have to be the ones to pick your time yourselves. We do this because we understand that you are busy professionals already. You have your 9 to 5, you have your chief job, you have school, doing masters and the likes. So we make sure that it is very easy for you to participate in this program. All right. So okay, well, these are just more people who have gotten jobs. So because of time and so that I can take your question, I'm skipping them, right? But let's talk about the tools you get to work with in the course of this internship. As a data analyst, you'll be using tools like SQL, Power BI, Excel, Tableau, etc. to solve actual business problems, right? And one project can have you working as a business intelligence analyst. Another project can have you working as a marketing analyst. Another project can have you working as a sales analyst, etc. And one thing I forgot to mention, this applies to everybody, regardless of your industry, or rather of your career path. 5 to 6 projects means 5 to 6 different business problems. It means 5 to 6 different businesses. And it means 5 to 6 different industries, right? So that's exactly what that means. So you're not just coming in and, or maybe this project is a supply chain and every project is a supply. No, another project can be in healthcare. Another project can be in FMCG, in real estate or construction, etc. That's exactly how that works, right? So if you're coming in as a data scientist, you can work on SQL. Sorry, you'll be working with SQL, solve problems, Azure, Python, Excel, Power BI, etc. And you can work as a forecasting analyst on some projects, machine learning engineer on some projects, market research analyst on some projects, big data analyst on some projects, or even AI engineer on some project. The same thing for data engineering. One project can have you working as ETL developer or AWS cloud engineer, Azure cloud engineer, to mention a few. And you'll be working with tools like Azure, AWS, Docker, PySpark, etc. Right? And then as a business analyst, you get to work with tools like SQL, Power BI, Draw.io, Confluence, Jira, Notion, etc. And you can work as process analyst, business data analyst on some projects. You can also work as requirement analyst, operations analyst, etc. The reason why we're doing this with you is because most times, right, we realize that new professionals in tech would go on job boards and, oh, I took a course in data analytics. They're just looking for data analytics jobs. Oh, I took a course in business analysis. They're just looking for business analysis jobs. Whereas another company has gone ahead to name it operations analyst or process analyst or business data analyst. right? Then for data analytics role, another company has gone on to name it business intelligence analyst, sales analyst, product analyst, right? But because you're not aware of the different job titles that falls under your career path, you wouldn't know, right? So we do this also to get you exposed to different job titles under your role. It happened to me also. Somebody sent me a DM, oh, we need a web project manager. Guess what? I said, please, can you tell me more about the job, right? Because I was looking for a product manager role. By the time she sent me the JD, it was exactly that of a product manager, and I took the job, right? And that was sent to me by DM on LinkedIn. So as a project manager, you get to work with tools like Jira, Trello, Confluence, Microsoft project, etc. And you're working with actual teams. You're managing actual projects and actual people, not imagining, not using ChatGPT to generate your assumed team, like, oh, assumed contribution from this team, no, right? Because I promise you, that's what would happen if it's a simulation. So you get to work on some project as Scrum Master, Agile Project Manager, or even Lean Agile Coach, just to mention a few, even team technical Scrum Master also. Then moving to the cybersecurity side of things, you get to work with, as a SOC analyst, you get to work with Splunk, Wireshark, Autopsy, and the likes. And also on some projects, you work as SOC analyst, security engineer, SIM engineer, etc. Right? Then for pen testing, you get to work as ethical hacker, red team operator, security analyst, just to mention a few. And you get to work with tools like Nmap and the likes. Again, I mean, you would work with amazing tools, like I said, and we all have all of them listed here. The same thing for GRC, and yeah, so you would work in different capacities, working on risk-related projects, governance, risk and compliance-related projects, just again to mention a few, security awareness training, vendor risk management, technical experience in that regard, and also even risk assessment-related tasks, right? So these are more people that have gotten the job. This is Laju, who got a data scientist role in the UK. This is Lanre, who got a business analyst role in the UK. And I interviewed them on this day, but because of time, I would not be playing the videos, right? Somebody asked me a question about reference, which I answered, and this is an example. These are recruiters who sent us DMs requesting for reference for some of our interns who are applying to a job with them. This first one, the person is still applying. This second one, the person already got the job. And they say, Olainka has nominated you to provide an employment reference for the application to Healthcare Island. This other one says, the above named has been offered a position with, as a systems analyst with our company and has provided your details as a referee. And of course, we provide the reference and they get the job, right? So these are just more people that have gotten jobs in the course of the program. So how exactly does the internship program at Amdari work if you want to enroll? I've explained how it works, right? So let's say you want to enroll. The next cohort is starting on the 10th of January, like I said earlier. If you'd like to join this cohort, it is very easy to secure your spot. So I'll walk us through how to enroll right now. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so I'll walk us through how to enroll by dropping the enrollment link in the chat. Enrollment is very easy and straight to the point, I promise you. So enrollment is very easy. I'll walk us through it. So if you use the link that I'm dropping in the chat right now, so if you use this link that I've just dropped in the chat, you will get redirected. But before we move on there, right? So enrollment is £500, but Amdari is running a discount that allows you to pay £310. And you can pay this £310 in 3 installments. This discount is only available till tomorrow because we've been running this discount since the 1st of December. So we're wrapping up already because we have just 5 slots available. My colleague has also dropped the enrollment link in the chat right now. So we have just 5 more slots because, you know, the year is coming to an end. January, before you know it, is here, and the cohort starts on the 10th of January. So we will need to know how many people we have so we can wrap up and start onboarding them from the first week in January. Now, so like I said, we have 5 more slots available, and this discount is open till end of tomorrow. So if you'd love to take part in this internship, you are not paying £500 as long as you pay between now and tomorrow. You will pay £310, and you can pay in 3 installments. Meaning, if you pay £103 today, you get to pay your next payment, which is £103 on the 20th of January. and then you pay your next payment on the 20th of February. So you pay for 3 months, and the internship is for 4 months, right? So, and you can see the person that got a job 1 month in, she still completed her internship. And she could have said, oh, I don't need to pay the remaining installments. Oh, I've gotten what I want. She still completed the internship regardless, right? So you can, that tells you the quality of what they get in the program. So let's say you click on that link that my colleague and I have dropped in the chat, you will get redirected to this particular page. So now on this page, please make sure you scroll down. This is the enrollment center. Scroll down, you see the different programs that we have. All of the programs I have been mentioning, right? Click on secure internship. You will get redirected to this page once you click on secure internship, right? You get redirected to this page. On this page, you can see the payment breakdown. If you pay once, you're paying £310. If you pay twice, you get to pay £155 for 2 months. If you pay 3 times, if you pick 3 times, you get to pay £103 for 3 months, which means your payments will be concluded in February. So just click on secure spot and you'll see the breakdown. Due today, if you pay today £103, you pay your next payment, which is 103 in January, the last one in February. Click on proceed, right? And type in your name, email address, and phone number, and then click on proceed. You get prompted to fill your card details. Your enrollment becomes successful, and you get automatically redirected to fill this enrollment form. Please just fill it with your bio data. It's very easy to fill. Fill it with your bio data. Click on next, right? Click on next. Select the program you paid for, right? And then upload the payment receipt. It is always sent to your email, right? Select the payment receipt. Select, read the terms and condition and click on yes, you've read it. Which name is on the account you're using pay? Type the name accurately. How did you find out about Amdari? Select the option that applies to you. And then select the duration of the internship, which is 4 months, right? Then when do you intend to start the internship? 10th of January or 7th of February? Regardless of when you're starting, I mean, it's very important to still start the year strong, right? So select 10th of January if you're going with that. Which of our sessions, or rather, what influenced your decision? Type what influenced your decision, and then which of our sessions influenced your decision. By virtue of being on this call today, select Saturday info session, right? And submit. Your enrollment is successful, and that is how you secure your spot. I promised that I was going to be done in 1 hour, 30 minutes, and I stayed true to my promise. Thank you all so much for being patient with me on this call. I'm taking questions now. Thank you all so much for being patient. I really, really appreciate your time today. Now I have a few questions in the chat. If you have any question for me, raise your hand. Once I'm done attending to Jeremiah and also Victor, I would answer every other person who raises their hand. We just might not be able to take everybody while you're not on the call, right? So, but I would answer as much as I can. Omotayo, well done. I'll come to you. So Jeremiah says that as a data analytics student that is interested in the engineering, ETL pipeline, data warehousing of things, and is familiar with SQL and Python, what are your thoughts? My thoughts, you can actually take the data analytics route or upskill to becoming a data engineer. You already have the Python aspect, you already have the SQL aspect. SQL applies to all of these data career paths, right? And one thing I can tell you for a fact is job titles right now, or rather job descriptions right now for a data analyst role is beginning to have ETL as responsibility. Oh, should be able to create a data warehouse, should be able to build ETL pipeline, to be able to create these architectures and everything like that. So they're already even merging into the job title of a data analyst. So you being able to do that just means you having extra edge, right? You standing a chance to even get the job. And it's just solidifying who you are as a data analyst, considering the fact that there are some aspects of data analytics that AI is getting smarter and smarter about and is able to do. So you being able to level up to that point, ETL, data warehousing creation, the infrastructure creation also, and being able to do containerization and the likes just gives you a better edge. So I would say you can take it. And the beautiful thing about the internship at Amdari is that you are able to also take crash courses. So let me show you something real quick, right? You are able to take crash courses. So Amdari has the crash course center. It's loading, right? I'll come to you shortly. So we have a crash course center where you can either take refresher courses. Oh, I took a course 1 year ago, 6 months ago. I didn't really practice. I didn't learn anything else outside of this or that, or the course wasn't robust enough. I would love to know more. You can just come to your dashboard at Amdari, come to learn. Right here, you can see learn here, right? Click on learn, and I'll go to data engineering for you for the sake of what you asked, Jeremiah. So this is data engineering. So you can take these courses to solidify. So you can see Python, which you say you already do. You can see Introduction to Data Engineering, Git and GitHub, right? You can see SQL for everyday. So again, it's something you're already doing, which is amazing. You can see API integration and web scraping. So you get to learn more. So yes, it's something I advise you to take on, definitely. So please let me know if that answers your question, Jeremiah. Give me a thumbs up if that answers your question. So it's open to any intern in the program, this crash course page. So let's say you enroll today, Jeremiah, you would be able to have access to the crash courses, and you can start taking crash courses in preparation for the internship starting on the 10th of July. Jeremiah, are you still here with us? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure, because I just wanted to know if they will take us on the AWS side of things, right? So for me, I'm actually I'll say to an extent, like SQL and Python, but I wanted to know if they'll take us on, since you have mentioned the crash course for the AWS, I don't really know those ones. That's like where cloud stuff, so I don't really know those things. But I'm just very interested in pipeline, warehousing, architecture, all those things. Not necessarily analysis aspect of things. So, but yeah, that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. So, Jeremiah, one thing I'd like to say is for you to go in for an internship, you don't need to know all the tools. When I went in for mine, I could only code in 2 programming languages and nowhere near proficient when I did. The internship solidified it for me and introduced me to other tools, which I became very good at. So, SQL and Python that you already know as under data engineering is good enough, right? The Azure side of things, the AWS side of things, there are things that you can also pick up in the course of your program. So your team lead, like I said, they are not volunteers, right? They are here full time. So they would work closely with you. If there is a tool you've never used before and you'd like to learn how to use, they will definitely take you on how they'll teach you. We have something we call office hour. It's for you to jump on a call with your team lead. It's more closed door for them to guide you. Oh, you have blockers, you have issues you're facing, you need guidance on something, you need assistance about something, there is a tool you're struggling with. That's the essence of office hour. So it's you and them one-on-one. Do you get? So in that, so this crash course is just like icing on the cake, added advantage, right? Like something additional for you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we look forward to having you in the program, Jeremiah. Hope you're joining us.
I really love to, so I just have to like plan towards it. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Victor says, please, Omaomi, hope you won't be disappointed during this internship. I did one with one company in the UK and it wasn't what was promised. Please hope all these said are based on integrity. I give you my word, Victor. I give you my word, one. And you also heard from our interns, right? So that was why I didn't even just say, take my word for it. I wanted you to hear from people like Jerry, people like Anita, right? And even Toyin that talked about the reference. We prep you for interviews. Everything I've said is what we actually deliver. And let me show you something real quick. Let me show you something. Now, this is your internship dashboard. It houses resources and things that you might have missed during your, that you might miss. And even if you don't miss it, it's for you to come catch up just for whatever reason. Look at this. It says, so you can see this place says data analytics internship, October cohort. These are people who started in October. Now, project 4, this is December. They are already on their 4th project. You can see here it says watch recording, right? So this is project 4. And the project title is Optimizing Employee Performance and Employee Benefits Program through Data-Driven Insights, right? So if you come here, you'd see some tools that, the interns are also still learning, like Learn Looker Studio, Tableau tutorial, and the likes, right? How to download Tableau public, right? Now, if you come to mentorship, these are sessions that have already happened. These are recordings. Look at video link right here. Look at video link. You can just click to go watch it. You can click here also to go watch it. Look at mentorship. It says job strategy clinic. Look at the dates. 11th of December 2025, and it was uploaded on the platform. So it happened on 11th. It was uploaded on the 12th, just in case somebody missed it or somebody just wants to watch a replay. This one happened on the 4th of December. It was uploaded on the 5th of December. What does it say? Mock interview prep, right? Mentorship and testimonial session. This is for every intern in the program. Scroll down again, mock interview prep, job application session. Can you see? This happened on the 30th of October. And this team, these interns, they started on October, right? In October, rather. They started in October, right? So you can see all I'm saying. So am I saying that things that we promise, we deliver it? Yes, that's what I'm saying. And take my word for it. This session is recorded, right? So yeah. So we deliver it. Does that answer your question? Okay, so I'll take people that have their hands raised so that it doesn't look like I'm only reading comments. So let me allow Omotayo speak, then I'll come to the other questions. But I see that Omotayo already typed. But Omotayo, hi.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, I love to come online every time when I hired of Amdari because I am the December cohort. I am part of Amdari already. And I go to everywhere to tell people Amdari is not a joke, to be sincere. It's not because you are here today. I started my own cohort in December 6th. All those videos you were showing, it was our videos. So which my own dashboard too is open on ground now. I'm doing my project too. I'm working on my project, and I can tell everybody that wants to contribute or want to participate that you are 100% safe. To be sincere with you, I started in December 6th. We are in my second project. I'm doing GRC, and as at present, we have finished one project, which is 1 week project on university. We are looking at risk assessment and risk evaluations on that. We have done that. We are on the second project now. And I don't know, when they told us that it's going to be 6 projects, I found out that we are in second or third week. We have done 2 projects and we are still going to 4 months. How do we now think we are not going to do more than that 6 projects? And to be sincere with you, Amdari is open to everybody. I have booked several sections. I don't have background. I don't have background knowledge about it, but I always consult. And even if you chat them at 12 a.m., they will reply to your mail. They will reply to your message. You can book direct sections with anybody you want to talk to. Nobody is so powerful. There is a collaborative effort in that group, which I seriously love. I have classmates from Canada. I have classmates from US that in our cohort, even in our group, WhatsApp group, is always hot because we always ask ourselves questions on risk and compliance. And as presently, because of Amdari, I'm doing ISO 27001, which is lead auditor. I don't know about this before. It is through Amdari that I got to know about it, and I'm doing it free now. It's not even in crash course, but one of my team lead introduced me to that, where I went there and I started the course, and I'm even at the half now. So many tools should be, those that are asking about tools, that's why I said, let me speak. You will see a lot of tools that you will use that you don't even know of before. There are so many things. I've been in governance, I've been in public policy analysis severally, but I've not heard of so many tools. I have done so many courses that they duped me, they did a lot of things, but just to cut the long story short, you will see all you want in Amdari. I can say this 100%. I am not paid for this advert, and I am cohort. If you want to chat me or privately, I will screenshot my screen to you, and you will see everything that I'm saying on my laptop. Thank you so much.
So much. This is very, very, very unexpected, right? So I thought Omotayo wanted to ask a question like every other person. In fact, I just see where, like, I'm just seeing your comment now where you said, Mommy, I would love to speak, please. We are testimonies. Like, I would have been confused, but you were already speaking before I saw that message. And that was when I realized that, oh, okay, Omotayo is already in the program. So I believe that what Omotayo just said, if I knew that Omotayo was on the call, or rather I saw him, but I didn't know he's already enrolled, right? If I knew that, I would have just allowed Omotayo respond to Victor. So Victor, please, I don't know if you're still on the call. Did you get everything that Omotayo said? And of course, to every other person on the call, right, who might, be skeptical and all of that. Amdari, I mean, we don't want to fold. If we don't deliver what we promise, we're going to fold, right? We're in a business where we want to make impact. And the goal is not, 1 year here and then you don't see Amdari anymore. You don't know. No, that's not our goal. Our goal is to impact and help as many professionals in tech gain experience that can help them land the job. Like I said, Amdari was built from a place of personal experience, right? So it's not like, we're just doing this and we just make things up just to get you in. If it didn't happen, I would. And if I made things up, Omotayo is on the call. Who knew? I don't even know how Omotayo found his way here, because this is only open to people that are yet to enroll, right? And I'm really, really glad that he is. So the guy that just spoke right now, Victor, is one of our interns. He's currently in the program. He's one of the interns that started in October, just like he said. I hope you heard everything he said, Victor. So if you have any question for him, he also said he's willing to respond to more, right? But like I said, I won't come here to say things you don't do. That was why I said, hold me to my words. I'm not making things up, right? You get the actual stuff I'm saying on this call, right? Thank you very, very much, Omotayo. I really, really appreciate everything you said. I appreciate the fact that you are here on this call, and it just happens to be, perfectly answer a question that Victor had. And of course, some people might not even ask, but it might be something they have in mind, like, how am I sure that they will deliver it? It's normal. It's normal to have doubts. It's normal to have fear. Amdari has an internship system where it has a payment system where you can pay for 3 months. It's a program of 4 months, right? So it's something that you can easily just say, I don't like it, and you don't continue, right? But that's not what Amdari wants. That's why Amdari is committed to make sure that you finish what you started, right? So I hope that answers. So Victor, does that answer your question from what Omotayo said, from what I said? Are you good? So let me take another hand now while we await Victor's response. I see more questions in the chat. Like I said, I promise you I would attend to them. So hi, Chinonso.
Yeah, good evening, Omaome. How are you
Hi.
doing? Yeah, sorry, my background might be a little bit noisy. I have to take a step out. I'm at work though. So my question is during this few 2 weeks of going through the project that we did. So my question is on that. Now you're talking about like interview while going for interview. So I want to ask, while we're doing that, I'm used to Jira and ClickUp, but I'm not used to Trello. That was the first time I was getting used to Trello, because the other project manager I worked with was like, well, we should use Trello because Trello is going to take a lot of people than Jira. So I now, use Trello. But I noticed that it's like they have certain period to use the free plan before they start charging you. Okay. So, well, the question I now want to ask is that an issue if I'm to use that in my story, saying that during the course of my project, I had an issue. We had a setback with the application expiring, and I had to suggest to my team members we should use from the buffer from the budget we already budgeted and the buffer we added on the budget, if we can use from there to make payment for the app. And that was how that suggestion had made us to scale through and we're able to deliver the project on time. Does that really add up? Or is it something like, before you're doing your project, you should already have known that the application should be expiring and payment should have already been made? So that's my question.
Okay, so your question is whether you should have the foresight and picture that something is going to happen before you start, or that the problem happens and then you came up with a solution.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's very, very tricky and subjective, right? And I'll explain what I mean. So if it's a scenario where you've worked in that organization, that's not the first time it's happening, right? It's something you should already have, like, it's something you should already anticipate and have plans for so that it doesn't occur. Then you saying that it happened, you came up with a solution, does not make you look good, right? Again, that's why I said if it's something that has happened before, if it's an organization you've worked in before, if it's a process you've managed before, and if it's a tool you've used before, right? And you are aware of that already, saying that you were proactive in that case, but that's being reactive. And being proactive is the best way to sell yourself, not reactive, because now you're coming up with a solution when a problem has happened. So was it something you could have prevented, right? So most times, and that's so now if you say it the other way, like, oh, so this happened and we swung into action and I fixed it. As a recruiter, I can ask that, okay, is this something that typically happens? It might be because I want to know if you're reactive. Yes, you're amazing. You jumped on it immediately. Beautiful, right? But I might be like, I might again want to just know if you're a reactive person or a proactive person. So I'm saying that, and you wouldn't know it's really a trick question because now you've told me it happened and you swung into action. And I say, is it something that typically happens, or it's something that was the first time it happened? If you say that was the first time it happened, awesome, right? If it's something that typically happens, I would have expected, and that's where you now see me give you feedback. So is there a reason why you missed the signs? Is there a reason why you didn't spot, So that was why I said those signals can say different things. And these recruiters are smart, because if I was in that room, what I would ask you, like what you're saying would be a hint for me to want to know more, like how you think, okay, is he a reactive person or a proactive person? So what you said, both are good, but it depends on the context. So taking us back to the context that I mentioned earlier, right? When you now create that context, and I can already see that it's something that typically happens, I'll just be like, okay, you should have actually envisioned that this would happen. Why did you not, because it's good to be, because sometimes you being reactive does not save money. It might cost money, because it might cause some things, and that platform might not pick up. And I'll use something as an example. When you're running Google Ads, right, and you're funding your account, and then your payments on that account you fund is exhausted, your ad is going to stop. By the time you fund the account again, right, now your payment was exhausted, the ad stops. You are the growth manager or the ads or the digital manager or something, right? Now the ad stops and you immediately say, okay, yeah, let's fund. Hello? Okay.
Thank you.
So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's fund it immediately and stuff like that. Then you go ahead to fund it. Your ad will not pick up immediately. You most likely will lose 24 hours. And whatever results you wanted to get, 24 hours is gone. So you've lost that. You've lost time and you've lost numbers. So what that means is if you had kind of envisioned that this would happen because you've been doing it, then that would help you save the company the stress of losing that 24 hours. Because again, one thing with that ad is it would not pick up immediately. Like if you've been moving at a certain pace, it would have to like start slowly again and pick up. So even the next 48 hours does not mean that you are getting what you're supposed to get. It has slowed down. Do you get my point? So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so welcome on board, Pere. I see that you've made payments, and I see you on the back end also, like I said. So it's very easy, like I said. You'll be onboarded on the okay, yeah. Do you want to take the refresher course? Which can yes. If you already want to have access to it, I'll grant you access today. Immediately we are done with this session, I will grant you access. So what you have to do, please create account on www.amdari.io. Please create the account now as we're on the call, and I'll grant you access. So once this session is over, please check in like 10 minutes. You'll have access to the crash courses. Just go to the dashboard, right? You'll have access to the crash courses. If for whatever reason you have issues or questions or complaints, my colleague is going to drop her number. Jennifer, please drop your number in the chat so that Pere can reach out. So Pere, if you have any issues, complaints, or you have questions along the line, please reach out to my colleague. So Jennifer, please drop your number in the chat. Thank you very much. So for every other person that has enrolled, please ensure that you fill the enrollment form. So far, we have a couple of enrollment, and I can see the enrollment on the back end. So please, for those that are yet to fill the form, ensure that you fill the form as we're discussing. Like I said, the slots will be taken. So if you'd like to take advantage of the discount, please ensure that you enroll before the end of tomorrow. Okay, thank you. So let me hear from Akise. I did not want to mispronounce your first name. So yeah, Akise, hi. So I'll come back to the chat. But yeah, let's listen to Akise and Tori. Hello.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm having a little bit of challenge. Maybe I need more information, or I didn't get enough from your. I might have to watch it all over again for the data science cohort. There's always a dividing line between data science and data engineering. Now, this 1 week internship that we had, which I was part of one of the teams for data science.
Yeah.
There was a concept that was brought in. They use how to import data from APIs, which I've done the data science course with analytics, but that aspect was not elaborately treated. So me coming for the program, this internship, that was the main course, and that was the major challenge. To cut the long story short, I did not actively participate because I did not get access to guidance on how to go about it properly. You might get assistance, but they are theoretical. We are talking about practical assistance, especially for
But during your training, when you took your course.
Yes, when I did my course, there was no opportunity. We're importing from CSV files and other formats, but nothing associated with APIs.
Yeah, I get that.
So in this Amdari now, I'm interested in the data science aspect. It is not just giving us a project. That's what I want to clarify. Not just giving us a project and say you can do this and verbally saying that we are doing this when we have not actually practically done this in the first instance for some of us, because it's not all aspect. These days, there's an aspect of data engineering that conflicts with data science vis-a-vis. Another aspect could be, as a data scientist, you might be involved in scraping data. Now, we know that we can scrape from Excel, from other, which those are the basics from the web and all that. But then you have to use some certain tool, Beautiful Soap, or using Selenium. Again, faced again with a project whereby the data source we had to specifically use Selenium, right, to scrap the data. That again, trying to get assistance to get that sorted out. At times, most of the times when you have been given this project, becomes laborious because it is not something that is not just theoretical. It's you need to have maybe a video to show you that, or you have to have a practical lesson being taught. Some of these technical issues, these are the dividing lines, especially in most roles now. But are we getting it if we get into this data science internship? Not just giving us a project and allowing us to brainstorm guidance. In essence, what I'm trying to say is that are we going to get the appropriate guidance to carry out whatever task that will be given to us? Because that is important.
Thank you very much.
Because I didn't see sorry, I didn't see the outline for the data set, like the way you opened the dashboard. I didn't see for data science. I just saw you these crash courses that you have affiliated to it.
Yeah.
So maybe that probably would shed light into what or how the course will take the way it will go moving forward. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. So, would you get proper guidance? 100% yes, you would get it. Right. One thing I always tell people, because I get your experience when you said you did your training, where you did training and everything like that. Trainings are always theoretical. Amdari's experience is not theory at all. You would not do theory at any point. And that's why I'm really glad that Omotayo was here to just also attest to the quality of experience you would get, right? You are not doing, sorry, what's it called now? Theoretical. You're doing practical. You're solving business problems. Here's an example of a project our data science team is working on. If you look at my team here, you will see data science internship, October cohort, right? And right here, this is cement demand forecasting across multiple sites, right? And it gives them a breakdown of what to expect. Sorry, just a minute. It gives them a breakdown of what to expect in this program, right? And this is a 3 weeks program, 3 weeks project rather, and you can see the date it started, and it's for this company, right? Now, one thing I would like to highlight, and again, Omotayo mentioned this when he spoke. He said, even at 12 a.m., when you send a DM to your team lead, they would respond. I didn't even say that part, right? And that was why I said the team leads you work with, the mentors you work with at Amdari, they are not volunteer mentors. Amdari specifically hired specialists in your field. Whoever is working with your team, right, Akise, whoever is working with your team is not a data generalist. It's not, oh, I do data science, data engineering. No, they are specialists in that field. Your team lead is going to be a data scientist. If somebody is coming in as GRC analyst, their team lead is not going to be cybersecurity generalist. No, it's going to be a GRC specialist that they will be working with. And that's why I said our team leads at Amdari, they are over 40. That's the mentors and team leads for interns. They are over 40. And they work and respond to your messages at any time. And Omotayo also highlighted and mentioned the fact that for any time you reach out to them, they'll respond. And one thing I need to tell you, Akise, is this team leads, their KPI is tied to your success. Like they are invested. And you would see the different screenshots from testimonials that I have shared so far. That's why I kept showing us different testimonials. You would not share your good news with somebody that was not invested in helping you get that thing, right? You would only share your good news with somebody that you know was committed, was encouraging you. And that is something that Omotayo also mentioned, the fact that he's currently taking a free certification course that he didn't even know existed, but he was pushed and informed about it by his team lead. And these are things that would always help you stand a chance. That edge you need to get a job. These are things that would always give you that edge. For cybersecurity, for example, the barrier to entry is not as low as some other fields. Amdari is aware of this. That's why for everything that would make you super quality to get the job, you get it, right? And we have people that have gone on to get even visa sponsorship jobs and even jobs that are not sponsored, right? So again, I gave Victor my word earlier. I am giving you my word. When you send a DM to your team, even at 12 a.m., I mean, Omotayo mentioned it. So that guidance, you get it. And if you take a look at my screen here, let me come back here. So if we come here, let me come to my internship dashboard. It's so that it's easy for you to access things. You have your WhatsApp when you converse with your team lead, and I'll go back and show something. This says book consultation, and it says here, book an office hour with your team lead, right? It says book an office hour with your team lead. Now, when you click on this book office hour, it gives you this pop-up. You don't need to start typing your name, cohort. No, we would pre-fill that for you. This is the only field you're filling. And let's say maybe what you need is, I need help understanding, let's say, data pipeline. Maybe that's your reason for wanting to have a conversation with your team lead. Just click on book session, right? Click on book session and you get redirected to this page. This session is open 3 times in a week. Those 3 times that you don't meet with your teammate and team lead. Remember I said you meet twice. So those 3 times you don't meet, can you see? Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can see the open time, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday for you to meet. Now, this is because holiday is starting next week. There is always typically more than one time slot, but even despite the holiday, Amdari still has open time slot just in case some interns choose to work during the holiday, right? Maybe just in case they choose to. It doesn't mean Amdari is shutting its door and you can't access. Even during holiday, you can still book this. Look at the team lead here for data science, Daniel Olushesi. right? This is one of our amazing, like one of the smartest, I promise you. So he works with the data science team. He's one of our data science teammates. He comes up with a lot of things that you can easily develop and improve on when it comes to your skills as a data scientist. So as you're working on those business problems, as you're working on those projects, you're developing a lot of skills, AI-wise, machine learning-wise, algorithm building-wise, etc. Right? So honestly, and again, that's because this team, for example, they already meet Tuesdays and Fridays. So you can see this time slot Wednesdays, Mondays, and Thursdays. So you can just book this session with him and have your conversation. You see, you don't need to type anything, just book, and he would meet with you by that time. And you can see it's 1 hour. So if you guys are done with the conversation in less than 1 hour, that's it. So it is that, so you can easily reach your team lead. Now I'll come back to this my slide, and then let me just come back to this next slide real quick. I showed us something. Let me click on escape so I showed us something, and that's the feedback. So maybe you were not on the call at that time, or maybe you missed it. So let me bring it back to slideshow. So this is Jennifer, one of our data analytics team leads, right? And these are messages that her team that she worked with from August sent to her when they were onboarded in November. And you can see things like, thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for all your guidance. Can you see it here? Thank you for all your guidance and support during my internship. I truly appreciate everything I have learned from you. To my amazing colleagues, because you're not working alone, see you all at the top. Can you see? And this other person says, thank you, Jennifer, for being an amazing mentor. It was a pleasure meeting great minds. I pray we excel in our endeavors. This is Dalia, one of our interns. I had to, cancel out her number, of course, right? And she says, definitely going to miss the drop-in session. The drop-in session is that twice in a week meeting that you had with them. This one says, thank you, Amdari. I truly cherish every moment here. Within my first month of joining, I was fortunate to land my first data analytics role with a US fintech company. A special thanks to Jennifer for all your support and effort. They support you, they guide you, right? So I'm giving you my word on that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see what we have in stock for the program then.
Okay, no problem. Even Omotaya still typed in the chat, I'm still here. I booked one-on-one session 3 times a week and it was guided. So that guidance, it's something you get. I understand where you're coming from. I understand that there can be doubts. Again, that's why our payment is flexible. First installment, after 1 month later, second installment, 1 month later, the third installment, right? Which is your final installment. So you are assured, why is Omotaya crying? So you are assured of proper guidance, right? So, okay, Mrs. Please, I need your advice before you close up. I am ready to pay, but need some clarification. Thanks, been amazing. It's been an amazing session. You are the best. Thank you so much, Opeyemi. Okay, Opeyemi, yes, I'll take you after Tolu. Please don't leave. Okay, please don't leave. Hi, Tolu.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so my question is very